Welcome to today's Masterclass Explainer. We're going to break down the exact mechanics of dietary protein, kind of like university lecture, but way more engaging. I'm absolutely pumped to share this with you today because, understanding protein isn't just for bodybuilders. This is fundamental biology that dictates how every single one of us functions, repairs, and literally thrives. Think of this as your ultimate definitive guide to knowing exactly what your body needs, why it needs it, and where to get it. So grab your notebooks because class is officially in session.
Okay, let's just quickly fly through our syllabus for today. First, we're doing the math on your baseline needs. Then we're diving into the biology of nitrogen balance. After that, we'll hit the grocery store to check out dietary sources, and we'll wrap up with measuring protein quality and practically pairing up your plates.
All right, Section 1, calculating your protein needs. Let's pull out those calculators and start with the core math that dictates what we actually require.
So, the recommended dietary allowance, the RDA, for your average sedentary adult is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Take a quick second and actually calculate that for yourself right now. To put that into perspective, for a 165-pound guy, that's about 60 grams of protein a day. For a 143-pound woman, you're looking at roughly 52 grams. It's a very specific, highly individualized target.
Now, if you prefer looking at the big picture of your total energy intake, the official guidelines say that protein should make up somewhere between 10 and 35% of your daily diet. So think of it as a really flexible window for how much of your daily caloric pie you're dedicating to protein, instead of just stressing over a strict baseline gram count.
But wait, here's where it gets super interesting. These baseline formulas, they shift dramatically if you're actively building or repairing tissue. Growing kids, pregnant women building entirely new fetal tissue, lactating mothers, they all need significantly more. And for the athletes out there listening, depending on how hard you're training, experts recommend bumping that baseline way up to anywhere from 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram. Basically, your lifestyle literally rewrites the formula.
Section 2, the science of nitrogen balance. Moving from the math into the biology, how did researchers even come up with that 0.8 grams number in the first place?
Well, it all comes down to this really fascinating concept called nitrogen balance. Think of your body's protein like a bank account. Nitrogen is one of the 4 core elements in all amino acids. When your body breaks them down, it releases nitrogen, which you excrete out through urine, sweat, and believe it or not, even as your hair and nails grow. So, nitrogen balance just means your dietary deposits perfectly match your daily bodily withdrawals. Most healthy adults are walking around right now in perfect nitrogen balance.
So, what happens when things get out of whack? Looking on the left, positive balance is fantastic. It's like actively saving up your money to build a new house. You're excreting less nitrogen than you're taking in because your body is busy using it to build new tissues, like during pregnancy, childhood, or healing from a major wound. But on the right, negative balance means you are dangerously overdrafting your bodily reserves. You're losing more nitrogen than you're eating, so your body literally has to break down its own muscle and tissue to survive. We see this with severe diseases or just from eating a chronically low-protein diet.
Section 3, dietary sources of protein. Now that we've got the internal mechanics down, let's head to the grocery store and figure out where to get these crucial deposits.
Check out the sheer variety of options we have here. It's amazing how easily both animal and plant sources can get you to your targets. 4 ounces of chicken gives you a massive 35 grams, and an 8-ounce bowl of Greek yogurt packs an impressive 22 grams. But hey, do not sleep on the plants. Just 3.5 ounces of extra firm tofu or a hearty bowl of lentil soup both drop 11 solid grams of protein onto your plate. It's all about building a rich, varied diet.
You really got to be careful with processing, though. Whole foods are the absolute champions here. If you take a whole nutrient-dense almond and process it down into commercial almond milk, you strip away almost all of that valuable protein. It plummets from 6 grams down to maybe 1 measly gram per cup. And once you get into highly refined stuff like pure oils or sugars, 0 protein, none. So definitely stick to whole foods whenever you can.
Section 4, measuring protein quality. Let's take this a step further, because it's not just about the raw quantity of protein on your plate, it is hugely about the biological quality. Think of protein like a massive biological puzzle. Here's a real light bulb moment. The highest quality sources, called complete proteins, contain all 9 essential amino acids in the exact proportions we need to finish that puzzle. This is your meat, dairy, eggs, but also plant superstars like soy and quinoa. On the flip side, incomplete proteins are basically missing a puzzle piece. Most plant-based foods, like your grains and legumes, fall into this category because they're deficient in at least 1 essential amino acid.
And quality isn't just about the puzzle pieces. It's also about digestibility.
Like, how easily can your body actually absorb the whole shebang? Animal-based proteins are highly bioavailable, usually 95% or more digestible. Plant proteins, though, they are literally locked away behind these tough, fibrous plant cell walls that our digestive tracts just can't completely break down. Because of that, soy sits at around 91% digestibility, and a lot of grains hover a bit lower, around 85 to 88%.
Section 5. Pairing complementary proteins. Okay, so this brings up a huge, very practical question. If most plant proteins are incomplete, how do we solve the puzzle if we're eating a plant-heavy or vegetarian diet?
Time for a quick knowledge check to see if you've been tracking with me so far. Based on what we just covered about incomplete proteins missing certain amino acids, what do you think the term mutual supplementation means? Take a second to guess.
If you guessed teamwork, you hit the nail right on the head. Mutual supplementation is simply the strategic pairing of foods that are missing different amino acids, so they cover each other's blind spots. Put them together and boom, you get all 9 essential amino acids.
And you know what? You've probably been doing this without even realizing it. Cultures around the globe have naturally created dishes that do this perfectly. For example, legumes are low in an amino acid called methionine, but grains have plenty of it. Grains are low in lysine, but legumes are packed with it. So when you dip whole wheat pear into hummus, or you eat cornbread with your kidney bean chili, you are perfectly balancing those amino acids to finish the puzzle. It's literal culinary chemistry.
But here is the absolute best part of all this. You do not need to stress out over mathematically balancing every single plate. Your body is incredibly smart. You don't have to eat these complementary proteins at the exact same meal. As long as you're eating a varied diet throughout the day, your body just pulls the amino acids together and handles all the complex chemistry for you.
Well, we have covered a ton of ground today. I want you to take these formulas, think about those puzzle pieces of complete and incomplete proteins, and actually analyze what you're eating today. Are you successfully saving up your protein to build a stronger, healthier body? Or are you accidentally overdrafting your account? Run the math, look at your lifestyle, and make those dietary deposits count. But remember, protein is just one piece of the macronutrient puzzle. So what is your body doing with the fats and carbs you eat alongside it? Think about that. Thank you so much for joining me for this masterclass explainer, and I will